Talafalava and welcome to Messina Treasures of Samoa. Today we are blessed to be interviewing the 2019 Women's Division World Fire Knife Champion, Sarah Lee Ngaleai. Thank you for joining us, Sarah Lee.
Yes, it's an honor. Happy to be here.
So our question for you today to begin with is, can you tell us how you got involved in Siva Afi?
So to start off, I moved from the Cook Islands when I was about 4 to Hawaii, and I lived in a family house back in the year. So my dad would always teach my older cousins because I was one of the younger ones. So I'd always watch them. I'd always watch them learn um more about the art fire neck dancing. So I looked up to them, and just one day my dad told me to come and he told me to come and practice, learn this one motion, and from there I just continued to, you know, I continued to learn more and more, and then I started competing, and yeah, everything else followed. So it was really because I was surrounded by it. Yeah, like all my family members, especially my cousins. Yeah, it made it easier that it wasn't just me. So yeah.
Awesome. And were you the only girl that was participating?
Actually no. So I had like about 4 older girl cousins that my dad was teaching at the time, and then um, so yeah, it was them, and then after I have 2 twin cousins that are girls. So I actually was dancing with them. We actually usually do group. We did group before we did solos, so it was always us three, and that made it like much more comfortable too. You know, not being the only girl, you have other people, other girls too. So yeah.
That's so awesome. And so, what do you wish you had known when you first started out?
One thing I always tell myself, I wish I knew more history behind the art of fine dance because I didn't really learn a lot about it until I was kind of older. So I felt like all those times before that, I was dancing. I felt like I was dancing for like with no purpose. I didn't really know the meaning and how the art even came about. So one thing is just learning the history, where it came from, how it came about, yeah, just stuff like that. And also practicing more than I should have. So practice is very important, and sometimes I lack on that. But yeah, I do learn from. I do learn when I don't practice. I do mess up on like performances sometimes and all that. So it does teach me a lesson. So that's one thing.
Awesome. So, what are you doing now in terms of Siva
Oh, right now I do some gigs here and there. Well, we had a couple gigs set out for this month, but because of the coronavirus and all that pandemic, a lot of them were canceled. But I am still practicing at home. We make videos here and there. I practice with my siblings. I try to teach them, because even the competition was canceled, which I was kind of bummed out. I really wanted to be there. I really wanted to compete and all that. But I believe that everything happens for a reason. So at least there's more practice for us for the next year. So yeah.
What is one of your Siva failures?
Oh, failures, yes. I have a lot actually. I always get cut. I always get burned and all that. But I'd say my favorite failure, or the one that helped me the most, was when I first competed in the World Fine Art competition. So I was really scared. I was nervous. I went on stage and I performed, and I only did a single knife, but it's usually single and doubles. But I couldn't do doubles at the time. So I went on, I did my single routine, and in the middle of my routine, the top blade, it flew off like completely. So I already knew in my heart that I was gonna be like disqualified or something like that, and it was just like really embarrassing. So when I came off stage, I just cried, and I was just so sad. And after, like, everyone would tell me, "Oh, you did good," but I knew deep down I was like, "That was horrible," you know. So um, yeah. Anyways, I stopped doing that after. I stopped doing fire knife for a while. until probably a couple months later, my dad talked me back into it, and I was thinking about it. He was telling me like you can't just leave it off as that. You have to go back and prove something, prove that you got better, and prove that there's like a lot more to it than you always have to go through failures and all that. So I felt like that impacted my fine knife career, let's say career, or like fine knife dancing to me. It helped me become better and helped me push to, to eventually reach titles that I never thought I would be able to get after that first time competing. So yeah, that's one failure I always remember. But I just always have to remember to keep pushing. Yeah, there's always times where you fail, and that's just what makes you better.
Yeah, and so if you hadn't kept pushing, you wouldn't have reached the champion. You wouldn't be the current champion.
Yeah. I have to thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. But yeah, well, I have to thank my dad because he is the reason why I'm still doing fine knife now, because I'm like, sometimes I just don't feel like doing it and I just leave it and it just goes longer and longer. But he always he's consistent in keeping me, on track. So I appreciate him. Yeah, just had to shout him out.
So our last question is there anything that I should have asked but I didn't?
Oh, not that I think. Oh, sorry. Not that I know of right now, but I'm just really grateful for this opportunity, and I know that fine art dancing for women specifically is there's a very high chance, because I know that we can do anything. So girls can do as much stuff as boys can, and I always tell myself that. I tell other girls who want to learn that. So yeah, and I love watching your videos. You're on Instagram, sharing the culture. I really appreciate that, and sometimes even sharing my videos. I appreciate all of it. So yeah, just grateful.
Thank you so much for joining us, Julie, and we look forward to seeing more of your competitions and more of your videos. Thank you again, and we will see you at the Class A4.
Yes, see you too. So nice to meet you.